So welcome to Airfield Mixologist. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you a bit around where we are with the rebuild of this carb. And also I want to show you a couple of things around the kit that I'm going to be using and why I think this is important. So first of all, I want to show you the throttle plate assembly. You remember that there was one, it didn't close properly, and now we've got a nice crisp throttle action. Obviously the needle and seat assemblies have been through a process of chemical blackening. This is mainly to prevent further corrosion. The same thing with this and the shaft as well. So now it has a very nice and crisp throttle action, which is what we want. And obviously here I put the main jets already in the body, so I'm just getting ready to start. But this is really interesting because this is the kit that came with the carbs, which is really helpful when you buy carbs that come with their own kit. And for what I can gather, this kit is quite old, and that's a good thing because generally I find that the older the kit, the better the quality, if it's still sealed as this one is. So obviously I've got gaskets on one side, the needle and seat and the accelerator pump, which is really important because I don't have any of this spare parts. So actually having this is real godsend for me, as it allows me to just be able to do this rebuild again. So in another video I'll show you a bit more about how I go about rebuilding this carb and the steps involved in it. So here I want to illustrate a principle that I use when I'm working with carbs that I don't know much about. Is obviously I've just opened up the kit and it has different types of gaskets because the models vary a bit. That's not a problem. That's why I have the old gaskets that tell me exactly the new one that I have to put in. So because if you look at, there were other gaskets in the kit that didn't fit. For example, this one is a different model, slightly different model, so therefore it wouldn't go on this one, and therefore that's why you use to make sure that when you are reassembling the carb, it has the absolutely the right gaskets. So it's this, and these are for the accelerator pump. Actually I worked out in the end how is this carb working, and obviously all of this has been cleaned and air blasted with air through, so okay. And the same thing with the base gasket. As you can see, this is the old one and here's the new one that came with the kit. So I'm just gonna check very quickly for compatibility. Yes, yeah, I think we're winning. Yep, we are. So therefore now I know where and how does this kit go. So see, I'm covering all the holes. Yes. And I think that for the base we had this one, and this one, and then we had quite long type studs on this side. So I'm just gonna, for the moment, I'm just gonna put this two, and I'm gonna put them quite, I'm not gonna tighten them up very much, so I'm just gonna do it a very light if I locate them in the right position, generally makes it better. There you go. So not applying any force at the moment. It's just kind of locating the pieces together, and it's coming on really nicely. So then I'm gonna start getting into the needle and seat and the pump. So I'll do that in a moment. Okay, so onwards and upwards with this carburetor build. Now what I need to do is I need to assemble this weird looking thing, which is the power enrichment circuit actually in these carbs. And the way it works is that it has rods that go right into the jets. So I need to be extremely careful how I install this. Yes, so exactly, yes, this is what it should be. And now I just need to put this on, which this acts as the stopper. And I'll tell you now I'll tell you in a little bit what this is all about. Okay, so this is basically the power enrichment circuit. And basically what it does is when the engine starts and it's not under load, the vacuum is going to pull this down, and therefore it will create a restriction on the jets by means of this rod. However, when the engine is under load, it's going to come up, and therefore it's going to allow some fuel to come in right there. So that's the kind of power enrichment circuit done. Now what I need to do is I need to do the accelerator pump, which is obviously this new item that came with the kit. There was a little pump. There we go. It goes this way. And now what I need to do, I need to start installing the top cover. Before I do that, obviously I went on the interwebs and I checked the float height for this carb. So I did it at 1/4 of an inch. That was what most people seem to be recommending. So let's have a look. This gasket, yep, seems to be a good fit, so that's a good sign. And if we put this one on top, there is something there. Have I got it the right way around? Yeah, it seems I have. Did we have any other gasket? No, so this must be it then. Okay. As this is an Australian built carb, it might be just slightly different. So these are the rods that go all the way down into the base plate, and they will help secure the base secure the base plate as well. So once we do this, then I'll tighten them up, and then I just need to put all the others So tighten up time now. Just tighten this up like so, and then the others on the base plate. So now I am starting to tighten up the base plate a bit more. So I need to do it like so, and then a couple of times here to make sure the tension is correct across the whole piece. That's fine. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm going to try to work out this accelerator pump, which basically is this rod here that you have to put it like this, like so, there, and this thing here. Exactly. And now, so this rod has to connect between these two pieces. Obviously, no, this is clearly not going to work. I just need to work out how did this connect in the first place. So let's have a look. It's a bit of trial and error, this. I think we are on the right track. Let's have a look. Yes, and so if we do that, I've just remember, typical fashion. So this is more or less the right track now, but what I forgot is I forgot. So I forgot this, which is a retainer that I've painted with a paint called Direct to Rust paint, which is eye-wateringly expensive, but still does the job. Okay, so how was it? I think it was on the other side there and there. So that seems a bit too much. Let's have a look. That's even worse. So possibly let's have a look if we do it like so. That's not gonna work if I do it like that. No, because initially when it came in the carb it was like this, so it was in the middle and that's how it actuates the pump. Maybe what it requires is, and again I'm learning a bit as we go along, maybe it requires a bit of pivot in there. Let's have a look. But the accelerator pump seems to be working fine, because that's the action it's supposed to have. So I'll just tweak it a bit, because there is a safety pin that I put there. Maybe what I need to do is put that safety pin down a bit. So it's all a bit it's all a bit trial and error when you don't know a carb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play around with it a bit until I get it more or less, until I'm satisfied. So I had another go at doing the accelerator pump, and now it seems to be kind of actuating correctly. The other thing that I did was also putting this safety clips here so that the thing doesn't come off. And what else did I do? Yeah, so I created a sort of curb idle mechanism by adapting this. Obviously, you have to understand that this curb originally might have had like some sort of divorce choke, and somebody has welded it here and basically adapted this curb to manual choke. So therefore, I mean, the choke actuates okay. It's just that you have to control it manually rather than the system that it came with the carb. So I think that this kind of brings us to the end of the build for this carb. This has been actually quite interesting for me, at least, making a new carb that I hadn't worked on before. So it's gonna go on sale, so may the highest bidder win it.